Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. Welcome back to Chris with a C. Hope you are doing well. Thank you very much for joining me today. Right, now as you know on the channel guys, it's not just about one brand or one type of vehicle or one size or one budget, one price. I like looking at all RCs. You know, this is my hobby. Let's kind of take that away. I'm not an influencer. I am someone who goes out and enjoys my RCs. Now, I'm quite happy driving big things like the X-Max, crawlers, also 110 scales, whether it be a truggy or buggy or whatever. I got in contact, or sorry, they contacted me. Hosim reached out to me and asked me did I want to look at their latest short course truck. Now, Hosim tends to make smaller, say 1/14th, 1/12 scale RCs, and they sent over the M13 Moxlin for me to have a look at. Now, as you know, previously when I've looked at Chinese manufacturers, I've either liked them or hated them. And I'm hoping this is going to be a good truck for your money. Now, what I want to go in with the mindset here is this going to be a good replacement for someone who's possibly looking at maybe like an Armour Grom, or maybe even one of the Traxxas cars, or is it going to be more orientated towards a budget, e.g. you have a certain budget to spend, or you someone new coming into the hobby, and I want to see what this actually offers and whether it's good value for money. And I will give you my honest opinion in this, guys, okay? I'll try my best. Now, I don't want you thinking I'm going to be biased, because obviously I do have a nice selection of vehicles here. And what I want to do is, I'm not judging the car on the performance of what I have. I'm judging the car on the performance of what it has. You know, what comes in the box, what kind of upgrades, what kind of speed controllers, you know, this, that, the other. Can you get parts for it and that sort of thing? So I hope you enjoyed the video. I'm going to set the camera up now. We'll dive down on the table, unbox it. It did have a little bit of an hard life getting you by the looks on things, but I'll explain that to you when we get on the table. And then fingers crossed you'll be able to make your own minds up whether this is worth buying. Right, I want to say a huge thank you obviously for watching all the videos as well. Remember guys, if you're not subscribed, hit the subscribe button. It costs you nothing and means the world to me. Right, let's dive down on the table and we'll go from there. Right, okay guys, so on the table we have the Hosim M13 Moxlin 1/14 scale stadium truck. Now, as you can see, it did have a bit of an hard life coming over to me. The packaging got kicked in, so yeah, big thank you to obviously the people who shipped this over. Huge thank you to Hosim for asking me to look at this as well. I really do appreciate it. You are looking at a 1/14 scale brushless 3S ready stadium truck, and what they're saying, this is will do up to 50 miles an hour. It comes ready to run. And the idea is with this is you can actually buy it and use it pretty much straight away. So they do boast on the side of the vehicle independent suspension, chrome steel axial gears, solid metal and underbody 3G chassis. As you can see, they're very sort of happy about telling you about the gearing. So that is on the side of the box there, and obviously this is the look of the truck, so it kind of has that little bit kind of maybe UDR slash Armour Mojave is a typical trophy truck kind of look. I always enjoy looking at these because some of the Chinese descriptions don't necessarily kind of run into the way we would think it. 4-wheel drive, no problem at all. Climbing ability, I don't know what that means, but, you know, does it mean that it'll go up the side of walls, or I don't know. Brushless motor, metal oil shock absorbers, 2.4 gigahertz system, long-lasting power, as opposed to, and rubber tyres. Well, I should hope so too. Little bit of information on the back. It does look like it's using a Dean's connector. ESC battery installation, that sort of thing. So they actually give you like a quick kind of how-to on the back of the box, which isn't a bad thing actually. I mean, especially kind of if you're aiming this at a new starter. I am going to open the box up now. And this will be the first look at the vehicle. So just cut the side open. It's funny with these cars because obviously they are based around a budget. Now this one, I believe, here in the UK, if you were going to buy it, you are looking around about £150. Now, so is this a good alternative to maybe something like an Armour Harvey? I'm going to pause 2 seconds. Sorry about that, guys. Just had to let my dog in the house. That's all. Right. Okay, so emptying the container or the packaging or whatever you want to call it. Do have a 2.4 gigahertz radio. Let's have a quick look at this. So a foam wheel to go on there. I'm not sure why that's off, why they wouldn't just put it on, but there you go. So on there you have your PC trim, LR trim. Gonna have to read up on that. I'd imagine one will be steering, one will be throttle, and then obviously you've got your trim for your steering there by the looks on things. Do not pull while pairing. Okay, so don't pull the trigger. Uses 4 AA's. Very cheap feeling handset, I'm not gonna lie. Trigger, not too bad. Has a nice bit of tension. In fact, yeah, it's not too bad, the trigger. Foam steering wheel feels very light and very springy. Yeah, just a basic 2.4 gigahertz radio. It'll definitely get you going. Will it give you total control and precision? Not sure. You have a on and off light there. Obviously your battery status, your switch, your throttle reverse and your steering reverse. So obviously, yeah, that's the radio. No real kind of anything to shout out about there. Getting the car out. This is the Moxlin. Very kind of goofy looking. I'll be straight with you. Obviously the body goes like that. It is a 1/14 scale. Definitely has metal gears. Metal chassis as well. Oh, look. They've actually got metal hubs as well. So that's interesting. Full metal hubs. Tyres feel firm and no foams inside them, but the tread pattern is pretty thick and deep and does feel like these tyres might take a little while to wear down, so that, you know, that's nice. Obviously I'm quite surprised it's got metal hubs on there as well. So we'll take a look at the car in a second. What else is in the box here? Oh, it's upside down. So in the box, obviously you've got an instruction manual, some more wheels and tyres, which is nice. And we'll open that up in a second actually. How's that? Let's move the car back. So what else do we get in here? Yeah, you get another set of wheels and tyres. It was nice that they've included that, because obviously you can keep the car running and beat it with an inch's life. But yeah, there's the wheels and tyres, guys. Nicely glued, no foam in them. But yeah, don't really see much of a problem with those. Obviously the fact that they've included an extra set for you, so that's pretty good. You know, that's one plus obviously with buying a car like this. You get an extra set of wheels with it, so you won't get that obviously buying, let's say, an Armour. You get sincere regards, thank you for choosing Hosim. Hosim is engaged in providing high quality products. We sincerely hope you have a pleasant purchasing experience with us. Basically just asking you to fill in your care protection plan. How well this would work, I don't know, but you know, it's nice that they've included that. Guides for after sale technical issues. So again, nice that they've included one of those for you to contact them. Get a very basic toolkit. The one thing I will say though is, by the looks on things, what they've included here, 2 different sizes of screwdrivers. Obviously they're Phillips heads, so it looks like there is Phillips hardware on the car. You get your typical T Allen wrench. I must have a load of these. I'm not going to do it, guys. Some spare wheel nuts. They are nylock nuts as well, so that's cool. 1, 2, 3, 4, and some spare body pins and spare hex pins by the looks on things. So obviously you get spare hex pins in the packaging as well. So that's pretty cool actually, to be honest with you. A couple of little extras. Spare body pins, spare wheel nuts, spare hex pins. So yeah, that's not bad. I mean, obviously that will get you out of a pickle. Especially if, I don't know, you may snap a wheel pin or something like that. So yeah, nice and easy. And then you've got your typical trash, I call these. They're 2 amp basically, battery charger. It does work. I don't really recommend chargers like this. I mean, if you haven't got a charger, yes, it'll work, but it might take you ages to charge one of these. So yeah, there's that. You also get your instruction manual, giving you parts numbers, diagrams, breakdowns, telling you what's in the vehicle. There are different colour options. As you can see here, there's metal hubs on the vehicle. Does look like it's got a metal Ackerman as well, so we will look at that in a moment. And yeah, so instruction manual, and also a Hosim bag. So, and I believe this is for your transmitter. What's inside you? Oh, more body pins and a brush. Oh, that's pretty cool actually for cleaning your car out. And extra body pins. I like them ones actually, because they got a nice little pull tab on the end of them. I might use them on something else. But and a nice little brush them for cleaning inside your car. So plenty of extras that they've included there. Nice little touches. So I do appreciate that. That's pretty good. Now, moving on to the vehicle. So as you can see, it's got this kind of snub nose kind of look to it. Front end is kind of right up in the air. Suspension, might need some shock work there, because the suspension is very slow to kind of return. There is a peel on this body, and I'm going to take it off in a second now. So it's got like a protective film over it. We'll have a look inside there in a moment. So let's remove this protective film. But yeah, okay, so body is relatively thick, so in that sense, how long this would last again, I don't know, but it does feel of a decent quality polycarbonate, so there is that. I will put a link in the description to where you can pick one of these up as well if you're actually looking for something like this, guys. So what they've done here, it really bugs me this, what they've done here is actually put the accessories on after. So I'm going to pause 2 seconds, I'm going to get these off, and then so I can take the film off. Right guys, okay, so I've taken the plastic film off the body. Unusual that they did that, obviously, because you've got to break out a screwdriver then and kind of get in, remove all the accessories. Doesn't really take a long time to do it, but yeah, the fact obviously you got to remove a film, so obviously something to be aware of. Body, I quite like the teal colour that it comes with. It's very unusual looking because it's really wide, this truck, as well as obviously being a short chassis. So what they've gone for is stability. I think with this truck more than anything. It has got an LED light bar, as you can see, running across the top here, and then obviously that's your connection there, obviously into the wiring harness in the car. So yeah, little light bar on there as well. So again, another little accessory that you probably wouldn't get on something like a Mojave Grom. And then obviously all this would act as roof protection then. So obviously you've got your skid protector there, and there. So if the car does end up upside down, it's going to skid along these pieces of plastic rather than on the body. So yeah, and you know, quite well thought about design really when you think about it, because it has got some kind of protection going on, especially in this area, especially on the roof. And then obviously you've got some big stout bumpers on the rear and the front of the vehicle. So that's the body. Right, moving on to the truck. So first impressions is I was quite surprised obviously lifting it off, because straight away you have metal hubs on the car. I'm going to go and grab some wheel wrenches a sec, and 7mm wheel wrench to undo this wheel so you can have a quick look. But right the way through it, you've got adjustable turnbuckles, metal Ackerman, obviously oil-filled shocks, big stout bumper on the front. Obviously there's a light bow that comes with the vehicle. Right, let me grab a wheel wrench and I'll come straight back to you. Okay, so just removing the wheel off here, guys. 7mm wrench if you want to actually use your own wrenches. One thing I've noticed here, it does have all the right parts to look at. So you've got metal hubs, which by the looks on things are powder coated as well in this red. Metal hexes, obviously like so, which again is a nice little feature. And I can see why obviously they give you the pin, because as soon as I took the wheel off, the pin fell out. But yeah, so you've got that there. On the car itself, you've got obviously big stout chromoly drive shafts going right the way through, front and rear. By the looks on things, it is dog bones. There you go, the wheel nut's falling off again. So might put a little bit of Loctite on that to keep them on. Dog bones on the rear, and then obviously your CVDs on the front. You have the ESC in here is a proprietary. It's not like a hobby wing or anything like that, or a Spectrum, or as you can imagine. The weight of the vehicle, it does have a little bit of heft to it, so I'm hoping that obviously that will kind of translate into stability, especially with the fact that obviously you've got your... Is the wheel hex on? Nope, see, it's done it again. Right, hang on 2 seconds. Okay, so you have the hex on there. Yeah, see, this hex pin keeps coming out here. So unusual. I think if they made the hole in the drive shaft here a little bit thinner, you probably wouldn't have this issue. Is it an issue? Not sure. Will it develop into a problem? Fingers crossed it won't be. So there is that. I'm having a little bit of a time here trying to get the wheel hex back on mine. Right, okay, so little inspection, guys. First thing I did notice is obviously when you wrench down on your wheels, don't wrench ridiculously hard, because straight away the wheel locked up. Okay, so you just need to give it a little tighten. Whether these stay on, I don't know. We'll find out when we're giving it a run. Now, on inspection, and obviously when I was working on the car then, I have noticed that these front shocks are very slow to come back up. So whether these shocks need some shock oil in them, or maybe even a lighter shock oil, I'm unsure, because the front end really doesn't seem to want to kind of come back up. Very slow. So I have got the option here to take one of these shocks off. I want to have a little look, because it might be that they actually need some shock oil. Maybe it's just relying solely on the tension of the spring here. The other thing I noticed, the shocks are on a funny angle. So they go on to, let me just show you. Right, there you go. So you got your screw, there's one off. Let's take this bottom one off here. by the way, guys, everything is a Phillips hardware, so I don't like Phillips. You know, that's one thing. But I suppose from a point of view of someone getting into the hobby, the likelihood of having hex drivers is little to none if you're brand new to the hobby. So having Phillips hardware might be a good thing for you, you know, looking at it objectively. So that's the shock there, and then gearing shot. So it does seem to want to go back up. So maybe we could add a little bit of preload. What I might do here is open the top of this shock collar up. Let's take this off a sec. So I want to have a little look. If I can. Because the springs have definitely got some tension on them. You have got the option of adding some preload. I just want to see if there's shock oil in the shocks. I can't imagine there not being. Okay. No, so there's definitely shock oil in there, guys. They use a little diaphragm on top. Does seem quite thick though, so I might swap the shock oil. Maybe go to a lower CST. Something that will allow the shocks to kind of work a little bit easier. But putting it back together, nice and easy. But I have noticed straight away the dampening on the front was a bit thick. So yeah, there's your shock. What we might do in a moment is just put them back on the car, add some preload and see if that makes a difference. Right, okay, so I have added a little bit of preload on the shocks, guys. As you can see, the car is now coming back up a little bit better. I have noticed, obviously, there is a slight bit of adjustment needed for the tow as well, which I'll do that at a later date. Anyway, moving on to the vehicle itself. You have got this 7 kilogram servo in there. Bearing in mind, obviously, it's a small car, very light. You've got a 2847 motor. KV wise, doesn't actually say, to be honest with you, so we'll have to look. ESC, a very suspect big capacitor hanging off the back of there, so I'm not sure what this ESC is, you know, who makes it or what it is. I mean, it's very unusual to have a huge capacitor hanging off the back there, but as long as it works, that's the main thing. If you see one of these, it is using a decent quality capacitor. If you see the K on top here, there you go. Alright, that generally means the capacitors are of decent quality. Battery straps are of a nice length, so it doesn't look like you're going to have problems putting batteries in you. And this is your 2600 30C. Very big battery for a very small, very big battery for a small capacity. Very light as well, but it will get you up and running. So obviously you can put other 3S batteries in here, but the battery tray is really nicely big on a positive side there, so no issues with getting your batteries in there. I've got a few 3S batteries I will run in this drivetrain. As you can hear, is all metal. Suspension with the battery out feels a lot better. So obviously there's a fair old size battery, that, to be fair. Well, you obviously give a little bit of instructions on the battery. Always turn the car off before after playing. Disconnect the battery. So, you know, again, aiming it at a newcomer to the hobby. Nice to have a fan, obviously, on the motor. You've got a great big heatsink. On the ESC, you've got a great big heatsink on the motor. Fully adjustable turnbuckles for your camber, and on the front, obviously, for your tow, which are there and there. Does look like the steering is ball raced as well, so that's good, and an adjustable servo saver. Again, you have got metal A, B, C and D blocks on there, so that again is good. As I say, you might want to swap this the hardware out. Me personally, I prefer hex hardware. So arms look pretty stout. Plenty of webbing on there, so there's no issues there. I am noticing like a clicking feeling on full compression of those shocks. You don't get it on the rear. So whether that is drive shaft related, I don't know. So these are obviously the caster hubs and steering blocks. Nice the fact that Hosim have included that. The other thing I'm noticing, guys, is on full lock there is a little bit of friction on the CVD joint. But I think what I'll do now is obviously put the battery in, then we'll try the steering out. I'll put the body on, I'll show you obviously how the lights look. But I mean, look, as a basic package to get you going, it's not a bad car. Obviously your shock towers are composite, so in that sense it will give you a little bit of flex. Some metal shock towers are not essentially a bad, not having metal shock towers is not essentially a bad thing. A lot of my bigger bashes have composite shock towers. Even my 8S Outcast has got composite shock towers. So that essentially isn't really a bad thing for me. There is a little bit of flex in the chassis. Not a lot. Just a little bit. But right, I'm going to put the battery in now. Put some batteries in the handset and we'll turn the car on. Right, okay, so yeah, obviously putting the body on, guys. I just noticed, I've just drove around the back garden and this definitely has a little bit of wheel speed going to it. So, I mean, definitely got a little bit of speed going to it. This should be a good laugh around Garth Park, actually, to be honest with you. My sort of little local test track with the extra clearance on the floor. I will say, as long as I can kind of get those shocks to where I want them to be, I think it'll be a lot of fun, really. The tyres, they feel like they will wear in nicely. I just did a little bit of a burnout on the floor in the back garden, and yeah, they're definitely slippery when they want to be and grippy when they're not. So I mean, the motor, it doesn't say what kV the motor is, but it does say that it's a 2847. So I don't know, I'm going to see how that goes. I'm not going to be upgrading it, but there is space should you want to upgrade the motor at all. It does look like a metal motor mount in there as well, so that's a good thing. Again, powder coated. I think the best thing I can do now is do some close-ups for you, and you'll be able to see what I'm talking about. But yeah, not bad for the money. Now the interesting thing would be to put this alongside something like an Armour Grom and see if this can hold a candle to Armour's offering, because bearing in mind, obviously, it's kind of in between a brushed Grom and a brushless Grom. So the price is kind of, but with this, obviously, you get the metal hubs, 3S brushless system, you get a battery, you get spare wheels, oil-filled shocks, obviously, just like you would, but they're metal as well. Metal Ackerman. Yeah, I mean, not a bad little car. Not a bad little car at all. But a little bit goofy looking, as I said, with the body. Body's a bit wide. But not bad. Not bad. I'm going to pause 2 seconds. We'll do some close-ups. Right, okay, so the first run of the Hosim M13 Moxlin. Unsure how this is going to go. There is a little car park here that I'm going to try the car out on. Now, one thing I will say, guys, is this as good as a Mojave Grom is the question. Now, this is fairly priced, right in between a Mojave Grom and also the BLX version, which is obviously a brushless. So the brushless here in the UK for the Armour Grom is about £220 to 230. As for this is 150, and then the brush version of the Grom is roughly about £130. So, you know, it's got tough competition. It's going to be hard to say, obviously. What I will say is parts for this are probably going to be harder to get hold of, and I will say I'm not a massive fan of the body. I think it looks cheap. You know, I'm not a fan of the body. It is what it is. It's got a goofy look, so we're going to give the car its first run. I'm not guaranteeing anything here. I'm just hoping the car will run good. Again, huge thank you to Hosim for sending this over for the purpose of review. It's going to be interesting to see how this is on some of the rough stuff in this car park here. This is normally something I would run. I did think about taking this to Garth Park, but quite honestly, I wanted it to give it a little bit more of a challenge. So we're giving it some dirt and dust. Right, okay, being a short course track, I felt like, you know, that was a good idea. Now, as I say, I mean, price wise, you kind of smack bang in between some of the big boys, and it's got big boots to fill, so it's all down to whether you like the look of it. Do you want main brand, or were you happy with obviously one of these Chinese off brands? So, and like I say, I'm not knocking it. Some people will love this truck, but let's give it its first run. Like I say, very little, very small. One thing I can say is I don't think it's going to be particularly stable. But it definitely got a bit of speed to it though. Is that 50 mile an hour? I don't think so. Definitely need some work. It's a funny one because the suspension's a bit bouncy. The car's got a short wheelbase, and diffs definitely need a little bit of work there. It seems back end bias when I pull the throttle there, but getting on tarmac, there you go. See, there's the back end lost again. So don't know. I can definitely tell you, after driving a Grom, I don't own one yet, but after driving a Grom, it doesn't have the finesse of, let's say, a Mojave. It does have some speed to it though, if you layer the throttle in slowly. So, yeah, the back, I keep losing the back end there, mind. Tyres not helping, mind. They are a bit slippery. And the short wheelbase is making it quite unstable. As soon as you hit the gas there, that's where the problem. Like, but I mean, it does come with obviously brushless power. The body's riding up there. It does come with brushless power. There you go. And it comes with a battery as well. Very unusual car to drive, to be honest. Like, I could see this being a lot of fun for someone, so I'm not trying to be negative here. But like I say, in this area now, when Armour and Traxxas kind of jumped in with all the smaller 114 scale trucks, you know, is there better out there at the moment? That is the question, and you got to kind of remind yourself, really, the price to performance scenario. So are you better off saving a bit of cash? Yeah, it's definitely pulling to the right though. Let's see if we can trim that out. Okay. So we've got throttle trim all the way up, steering trim all the way up, and the actual trim itself. Let's try again. Yeah, that back end is loose, really loose. I'm trying not to get blinded by the fact that obviously they add things like metal hubs and stuff like that in there, because it's only as good as a car feels. You can have some plastic cars that are really durable, really tough. They take a beating, but it is very all over the shop here. Back end is extremely loose. Right, let's see if we can lay the power in once again. Hold on, there's a van. Right, okay, so let's try again. Suspension definitely needs a tune. Diffs could do with a tune. Yeah, it's just all over the shop. It's really hard to drive, actually. Every time you hit a little bit like these little sleeping policemen, well, they're not even sleeping policemen, they're just marks on the floor. It just seems to bounce around really badly. Pull into the right. Let's try and trim that out again. No, wobbly. Well, yeah, that back is very biased on the back end. So as soon as you turn, that back end is stepping out on you. someone will have a lot of fun with this. I don't want to hate on a cheaper brand, but like I say, you're competing with some big sort of big RC companies in this category, you know, whereas obviously the Chinese market kind of dominated for a long time in the smaller stuff. You know, I'm all for competition because competition is good. It means us as end users get a better product from all these companies, but yeah, I don't think this controller is helping out at all, to be honest with you. But it is a budget car. Slow on the brakes, let it turn. I mean, look, it is fun, you know, because there's no denying, but it just doesn't have that kind of finesse. Motor is decent though, I will say that. The motor, yeah, so the motor, just very skittish. Could definitely do with a gyro or something. Yes. So it's got wheel speed, see? But lack of stability. Yeah, back end every time you jam on the gas. It is taking a lot of driving. A lot of driving. Turn in. I will say though, it's a lot better than the yeah, see, just a wheelie. Woohoo! Do you love a wheelie? What do you think, guys? Do I have a go tuning this? Would you like to see if it's tuned, to see if we can get it to handle a bit better? Maybe find a different set of tyres for it? Let me know in the comments, because it has got potential. I mean, it's definitely quick enough. And I will say, runtime wise, I mean, for that 2600 3S battery that's in there, we've been going a while now, haven't we? So, like I say, stock handset, stock battery. Tyres are feeling like they're starting to break in a little bit, but it's not horrendous. I just feel it's maybe not brilliant. Oh. Will say it's quite tough, mind. What do you think, guys? Do we tune it? On the loose stuff is where it kind of really struggles, which for a short course would be a shame, because that's where short courses normally shine. Whoop, whoop, lost the back end. There you go. I don't know where we are now. Yes, it's just the diffs are really loose, which is causing the back end to step out all the time. Battery life is really good, actually, though. I mean, we've been going at it a while, yeah. Bring it back down to me. Yeah, very hard to control. Right, I'm going to probably call this, but don't know. Maybe something to do with those rear diffs, I'm not sure. As I say, there's plenty of wheel speed in her. You know, nice thick drive shafts, metal hubs, metal chassis, brushless system. You know, is this comparable to the top two? No. But set your expectations. Can someone have a lot of fun with it? Yes. The only issue, like I say, for me personally, is getting hold of the parts. This is going to need a lot of fettling to get it to handle properly. I don't like the tyres. They're very slippery, considering they're meant to be rally blocks. Oh, and here you go, we're in a big puddle of water. There you go, and that's LVC. So let's go up top and talk about it. Right guys, welcome back. Okay, Moxlin M13 by Hosim. What do I feel about it? Well, the truck itself, as I mentioned, it's got big boots to fill this, when it's smack bang in between some of the big brands. I do like the fact that you obviously get a 3S battery with it. The runtime is decent. The motor has got plenty of punch in it, but where my issue is kind of the handling of the vehicle isn't very good. Now, we can possibly look at tuning, so maybe look at tuning the front and rear diff. Obviously it's a slipper clutch on you, so that would just be a case of tightening, but the slipper doesn't need tightening. Servo, plenty of power despite its size. There's no breakages on the car. Now, a funny issue you have got with this vehicle is obviously there's my 7mm wheel nut wrench. If I do the wheel nuts up to where they need to be, the wheels lock up, for instance. Right, so that is roughly about tight. That now, my friends, is, well, yeah. So you've got to back the wheel nuts off, like so, and then they'll turn. It's a really strange scenario with that, but I mean, durability wise, obviously he's got all the right kit on you. Big skids on the front, big bumper on the rear. Shocks, well, I mean, shocks are terrible. They definitely needed to. They may as well put chip oil in the shocks. I don't know how any other way to explain that, but they, as you can see, there is no return on them at all. It needs like a fluid, bro, like I don't know. Body, despite the fact that obviously it's not very pretty, is actually held up quite well. The roof skids seem to be doing their job. Handset, it's okay. It's a budget handset. You know, it feels very cheap, feels very plasticky, but although you have got plenty of settings in there, some of the way the words for the trims, instead of just have steering trim, throttle trim, I mean FR, PC, LR, it makes God knows what they mean, but yeah, mixed feeling, very mixed feeling on the truck, because speed wise there is plenty of poke in it. When you can get it going in a straight line, it's quick, especially for a small truck. As soon as you turn the steering wheel and then try and apply the throttle, the car is very much all over the shop. So that can be down to tuning. The wheels, I don't think are helping it in any shape or form. It could do with a softer compound, I think, personally, just to help it grip on the rear end. Now the big question is where do I see it? Now, the issue I've got with it is this, as I say, you've got a Mojave Grom brushed, which isn't as fast, okay? So that's cheaper than what this is. Then you've got this car, which is fast, but doesn't handle very well. And then you could need to spend a little bit more and get yourself maybe something like, I don't know, a Typhon or a Mojave BLX version. So obviously 3S, just like this, is capable. And that's going to cost you more. Now, do you want to sacrifice money, or would you sacrifice performance? And now, me personally, I would rather save that little bit more money. Now that, you know, that I'm giving you my honest thoughts on this, and I don't want to be hating on a brand I've just started working for. God no. I mean, I don't get paid for reviews. They sent me the car for the purpose of the video, but it's just an awkward feeling when you're driving it and you're like, it could just be that little bit more for the money. Just if they dialed in, I mean, fair shout, they've gone to the extent of putting metal hubs on the vehicle, brushless system, putting a battery in there, but the basics of the car are off. And I know when I pick up, you know, let's say one of the major brands, one of the top three, same sort of thing, I can put the car down and generally you can have a good time because the car will handle properly. So there's my honest take on it. Like I say, I want to say a huge thank you to Hosim. I don't know if I'll ever get to review any more cars from him. Apologies, I'm trying to be as honest as I can. Guys, I will put a link in the description where, if you like the look of it though, I will put a link in the description where you can actually pick one of these up. Until next time, check the box for more videos. Again, thank you to Hosim for allowing me to do these videos. Stay awesome, guys. I'll catch you in the next one.